We are looking at Tragedy of the Commons again. Today we are going to discover another resource that is depleted and degraded by dogs, dog owners, and dog culture in general. Let us review. Tragedy of the Commons is an economic theory that describes a situation individuals acting in their own self-interest deplete or degrade a shared resource. Ultimately, they harm the collective good. This concept highlights the conflict between individual interests and the welfare of the community, leading to resource depletion. Yes. Let's look at another definition here. This is unmanaged by a number of participants. So, only a few participants are actually managing this, but everybody is getting to utilize it. And a third definition mentions something else that's very important to understand here. Notice what I'm about to blue highlight. Destroying its value. So when you overuse a resource, you destroy its value. It's kind of like the value of the American dollar or other things like that. You're depleting the actual value of it by overusing it. And we're going to discover a resource that is being devalued by dog culture and overused by dog culture in today's video. So first, we're going to look at something called dog overpopulation. This is a big problem that we have right now. We have packs of dogs attacking people on the street. It says 6 to 8 million dogs enter the shelter each year. 3 to 4 million of them are being euthanized, and they say this is due to the lack of available homes for the number of dogs born annually. Well, ask yourself the question, who provides homes for dogs? Who provides homes for them? That's humans. Humans that already have some problems with their homes. Yeah. So let's look at something else. So the U.S. population is going to decline. So we've been experiencing low birth rates, low interest in having kids. Dog culture contributes to this a lot because, well, for one thing, dogs kill people. And for another thing, people want to get dogs instead of having kids. Yeah. And so the resource of humans is being depleted by dogs. We get more dogs, less humans. So humans themselves are an important resource to each other. They build social networks, share food, provide support. This enhances survival and well-being. These bonds are crucial throughout human evolution. So we need to give our resources to each other. Otherwise, we're not going to survive. If we're giving more and more resources to dogs, then we're not going to have proper human evolution. So many people prefer dogs over humans. This is a big thing in our society. But the big problem with this, when a person adopts, let's say, 2 or 3 dogs, they have to give resources to those dogs that come from other humans. They have to overgraze that field or fish too many fish out of the pond. All of those examples of the tragedy of the commons. The more dogs that people own, the more that they need human resources, government benefits, veterinary care, reimbursements, all of that type of stuff. So they're using more of the human resources that are supposed to go to their fellow humans for their dog and for their own personal interest of dog ownership. So now let's look at some things about dog owners. Many of them feel overwhelmed by their responsibilities, daily tasks, emotional labor, needs, along with their own needs. This mental load can lead to feelings of stress and guilt if they feel they are not meeting their pet's needs actually. Look, they screwed up right here and they put the word dog in there. They often use the word pet and to hide the nastiness of dogs. But as a human, how can you share your resources with a fellow human when you are overloading yourself mentally and financially, like many dog owners do. In fact, they brag about it. They get dopamine from living like this and they brag about it while they sit there using more and more human resources. Many people are struggling with pet expenses, leading to increased debt and a rise in surrender to shelters. Increased debt. If you're running around having to pay off the debt for your dog, how can you share money and time with your fellow humans? You can't. That's going to be a compromise. You're going to overuse a finite resource, the resource of your fellow humans and yourself. You are a resource. As a human, you are a resource and you are dumping yourself into dog worship. As it says here, veterinary care and pet supplies have increased. Well, I'm going to talk to you about why the price of those things are increased. There is a reason that the prices of those things are increased, and I'll show you here in a little bit. So, another thing to remind everybody, during the COVID-19, many people adopted dogs. 23 million households adopted a dog or cat. And some of these people adopted 2 or 3 dogs. So we are just piling on a resource user, a user of finite resources, a user of human resources, a user that never gives back. And more importantly, never gives back to the tax base. We need a tax base. We need people that will grow up and get jobs and pay for infrastructure. And dogs will never do that. So that further taxes our humans, our human resource, our finite human resource that is becoming devalued. Remember, guys, remember what I mentioned back here. Remember what I mentioned about destroying the value right here. Dog culture is all about dogs are better, humans are stupid, dogs are cheaper, I trust my dog more. If you love dogs, you're a good person. We're destroying the value of the resource that we are using. It's absolutely, completely simple and so freaking obvious. I don't know why more people don't look at this and try to understand this. So, humans, considered a great resource due to their creativity, problem-solving abilities, social connections. This drives societal progress and innovation. Look at all this stuff. We're sacrificing this and devaluing it. We're taking the human resource and depleting it for dogs. And humans, as we know, but I just wanted to show you guys a couple resources on this. We share resources with each other. We cook for each other. We clean for each other. We help each other solve problems. We trade, international business. We're always trading stuff. We're always doing something for each other. But the more and more that we just do stuff just for the sake of a dog to be present, the more that our humans have to suffer, our finite resource of humans. And there's plenty of studies on this. Psychology Today, PubMed, National Institute of Health. I'll throw some resources down there. This isn't just something that, that I came up with at the drop of a hat. So the veterinary field. This is humans that are dumping their resources into taking care of dogs. Not just the veterinarians, but the humans that own the dogs. Well, look, they're facing significant stress and understaffing issues, increased demand for services, high rates of burnout among professionals. So servicing dogs can be a really terrible job. A lot of these veterinarians have problems. Suicide is high. They have to witness their friends and family commit suicide. I mean, it's not just a suicide, it's the fact that you work with somebody and you come to work the next day thinking it's all about puppies and kittens, and you find out that one of your coworkers killed themselves. That's not good, and that is a finite resource that is being depleted and devalued by servicing dogs. The dog grooming industry, too, it's almost the exact same thing. Stress and understaffing, high demand for services, high demand for primping up and shampooing dogs, shaving their hair, filing their nails, cleaning their faces. And then the dog grooming also has to suffer something called groomer's lung. It's like emphysema. It's from breathing all that nasty stuff. So this is just an example. All of these jobs where we service dogs, there's a lot of stress for the people. So, what about jobs, though, where there's human connection? If we had more jobs that employed human connection, look at what we get: satisfaction and engagement. Yes, because we're a resource for each other. We are not a resource for dogs. When we help each other, we build each other up and we don't deplete ourselves. We don't deplete this human resource that is so awesome. Yeah, so some people might argue that, well, a veterinary job is hard, but so is like customer service, or so is like working in a retirement facility. But a lot of those people get a great deal of satisfaction. For example, my brother works for a retirement facility as a cook, and he mostly loves his job. A lot of the clients tell him that they love the stuff that he does in the kitchen. And when he tells me about it, he is in the best mood ever. So, yeah, human connection is where it's at. So, the Humane Society, they are a 501c3. Why is that important? Because we pay for it. Being a 501c3 means that you get to do stuff without paying taxes, or that you get to take donations from people and they don't have to pay taxes on the donation, or the donation reduces your tax burden, and other such ways. But we indirectly pay for the Humane Society, which means we have to work harder. We're being taxed for this. We got to work harder to bring more money home so that the Humane Society can propagate dogs that use our human resource. So, what about this one right here? Credit card bills. A lot of people use their credit card to cover their veterinary bills because they simply can't afford them. And we even have special credit cards called Care Credit and Scratch Pay, specifically designed to take care of pet care. However, when these credit cards don't get paid off, they can become an indirect burden on the taxpayer. And another thing, remember what I told you guys in the previous slide. The cost of things for dogs is going up, especially vet care. Why do you think that is? Because these people don't pay their bills, so the veterinary clinics, they have to raise their prices. Yep. And guess what else the veterinary clinics have to do? They have to reduce staffing and reduce their costs somehow. Remember what I said previously: understaffing. All of these unpaid veterinary bills means that the veterinary clinics are going to reduce their cost. They're going to pay less, they're going to get less staff, and so those humans that work in the veterinary clinic, they're getting freaking worked harder. And it's pretty freaking obvious. They have a high rate of suicide, a high rate of turnover, a high rate of burnout. And guess why? Because freaking dog owners can't pay their damn bills. And so, they make everybody else's job harder. Like I was mentioning, there's a high rate of unpaid credit card balance. And a portion of that is the veterinary bills. Yes. So, credit card companies can write off unpaid card balances. So that is an indirect burden on our taxpayers. Somebody's going to have to pay for that. And with write-offs, it goes towards our taxes. There's a lot of information about this. If you want to try to debunk me, go ahead. But bankruptcies and other write-offs and stuff like that become indirectly burdens to our taxes and everything else. The prices of goods, for example, have to be increased when companies go bankrupt or lose money because pet owners can't pay for stuff with their credit card. So, as we mentioned earlier, veterinary bills go unpaid, leading practices to implement reminder systems. And guess what else? They have, as it says here, policies in place to manage unpaid bills. What do you think those policies are? Increase prices, sell more stuff at the point of sale. When you buy something at the vet clinic, they tell you got to buy this type of thing, that type of thing. There's actually a video that just came out from a big company that actually explains this. I'll put it in the description. But vet offices are doing all they can to keep their costs down. Pay the people less, make them work more hours, bring in more dogs, sell more stuff that dog owners don't need, set you up with subscription drug services for your dog that you may not need. They need to rake in more money. They need to work harder. They need to work their employees harder because many people just don't pay their veterinary bills. So again, we are just depleting, devaluing the human resource through all of this dog culture. Dog grooming, veterinary clinics, dog rescues, it's all the same thing. So, many veterinarians report that financial constraints prevent clients from accessing necessary care, leading to a significant number of pet owners skipping or declining veterinary services due to cost. So, first, they're not going to pay, and now they're going to skip the service. So, it's like as it rolls downhill, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And notice what it says here. This issue is particularly pronounced among lower income households. Well, these lower income households are the ones that are receiving government and taxpayer assistance. And then they go in there, they're already on food stamps and Social Security, Section 8 housing, student loans. They got 4 or 5 dogs, and they go in there, they go into the vet clinic, and the prices are super high because other people aren't paying their bills. And so now what are they going to do? They're going to be like, I'm not going to buy that stuff for my dogs. They're going to go home and they're going to keep their 5 or 6 dogs. And then those dogs are going to sit at home and suffer and get sick and attack each other and cause all sorts of problems in the neighborhood. Yeah, the neighborhoods that are full of lower income households. Yeah. And if you take some time to read some articles, this is already well known. When clients fail to pay, as this one says right here, this is constantly happening. It keeps getting worse and worse. We keep raising our prices in the veterinary field. The veterinary clinics are being bought over by conglomerates. And at the end of the day, it's just like we said. It's just like we opened this whole thing with right here. Back to our little definition. Individuals acting in their own self-interests, owning dogs, they deplete or degrade a shared resource, ultimately harming the collective good. Yep. There you go, guys. That's been Tragedy of the Commons looked at again. I will have my previous videos on this in the description, and I'll have an outstanding video about the veterinary clinics being bought out by conglomerates in the description too. While you're down there, please give me a comment and let me know. Do you see humans as a finite resource that we should take care of, or do you think humans should just be used up by dog owners? I think humans should be taken care of first, and I think this Tragedy of the Commons description really highlights what we're doing to humans through dog worship. See you guys later.